time, maybe towards the end, to go.
It haunts us to now. In Pakistan, where our ancestors Hazaras in the last 2 decades. On our politicians, on our global genocide convention and punishment, including Australia, to acknowledge and officially recognise the Hazara genocide, the crimes committed against humanity, to bring closure to Hazara families and their survived the attack last year. They will be providing the keynote today to delve deeper into these issues and با خود یک تعهد ببستن.
مدیونتان میشیم. While you're reflecting during the moment of silence, please make a pledge on how you as an individual
They have banned girls from going to school and university and to put a stop to female education. And I'm sure the community will nurture it, protect it, and ensure it shines brighter than ever before. As we reflect on this so much that I spoke about in our federal parliament, because I wanted every person in this country to know the heartache that this family would have gone through. So my heart is with you all, always, and I will continue to advocate for each and every one of you, including your families. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cassandra, for your growing solidarity and
to their elders, past and present. I also recognise and respect their continuing connections to climate, culture, country and waters. This evening's event to honour and recognise the travesty and injustice.
Gathered to commemorate the anniversary of the horrific attack on the Kaaj Education Centre in Dashtibachi, Kabul. I stand before you as a member of the Hazara diaspora. Growing up in Australia, away from Afghanistan, I often find it incredibly challenging to express the depth of my grief for the victims of the ongoing targeted attacks on the Hazaras, and more broadly for my community that has borne the weight of such pain in many years. Waves of dread engulf, crashing in. These emotions are all too familiar under my skin. Another Hazara attack, a relentless and cruel game. Another Hazara attack, a relentless and cruel game. I scroll and scroll, searching for answers, burdened by shame. My assignment looms, its due time drawing near. My assignment looms, its due time drawing near. But how can I focus with this grief so severe? The images, they haunt me. The images, they haunt me, bloodstains on my screen. The images, they haunt me, bloodstains on my screen. Young lives cut short in a world so cruel and obscene. Girls raped by those who sought to erase. Survivor's guilt consumes me in this haven far from home. Acts are the echoes of a legacy that fights to last. Abdurrahman's genocide, a chapter of our pain, but now in these safe lands we call home, let our pride regain. Our culture born from suffering speaks of resilience so true. Our culture born from suffering speaks of resilience so true. Our traditional foods shaped by starvation.
و اجتماعی که همیشه سر راه موجود داشت بازم ادامه بدیم و شب روز درس بخونیم، زحمت بکشیم. قسمی که ما در یک شبانه روز 4 الی 5 ساعت میخوابیدیم و باقی تایم را همیشه کورس بودیم که بدون علم کمتر عرق می‌رساند در میدان جنگ اونو بیشتر خون می‌رساند و همچنان اینکه
of the Council for Security Cooperation in Asia Pacific to the broader knowledge that has been
terms of the recent attacks, but also to mark the Hazara Genocide Memorial Day. To establish some context, could the panel, one of you or all of you, tell us what you think are the particular vulnerabilities Hazaras face and have faced historically?
It's also something which is emblematic of the kind of experience that people of Hazara background have long endured in Afghanistan. And there are three factors I thought I'd mention. One is a pervasive phenomenon of discrimination which has existed for a very, very long time, and which of course has existed with different specific characteristics in many other societies as well. The phenomenon of discrimination is not unique to Afghanistan. Just Max Weber argued that it was likely to emerge when groups had particular characteristics that could be highlighted as a way of excluding them from economic life in particular, what Weber called social culture. So groups have attributes that can be easily attached to individual members. It's a way of reducing competitive pressure in markets and increasing the benefits that flow to those who are in the in-group rather than the group that's defined as an out-group. And Hazaras are very vulnerable in that sense because of a distinctive physical phenotype. Everyone's ancestry in Afghanistan is mixed, but there's genetic evidence of Mongolian background as opposed to Southern European phenotypes that one finds in other groups. Combined with the widespread knowledge that large numbers of Hazaras are adherents.
اختصاص دادن یک روز شاید خیلی کم باشه چون هر روز را که ما ورق بزنیم تاریخ هزاره حتما هر قدم ما و مسئولیت ها چی هست دوش شانه های از ما شما. Returning to your question, Shabnam John, I think Professor Maley characterized the
who may not necessarily be the majority group themselves. Afghanistan was once described as a nation of minorities by the writer Nassim Jawad, and I think that's pretty accurate. But that doesn't mean that you can't find states being captured by political groups that have agendas that they then want to pursue. Quotas for access to education and employment being one very obvious mechanism by which one set of political actors can try to promote their supporters and marginalise people who don't care for them very much. In addition to that, even if states are not captured by a particular group, they can be very poorly structured and organised if one's objective had a semi-presidential system in a unitary state. And in a country with over 50 different identified ethnic groups, probably not a good idea to have a political system that's going to create one big winner and 50 different losers.
Government to create a special investigative unit within the federal prosecutor to investigate international crimes. Apart from Hazara communities, Australia is also home to a large number of Yazidis and other people who have been, Rohingya people who have gone similar, unfortunately, Black history. So I think that will be a very, very good approach for us to join this call with this center. And as a last point, I wanted to say that justice denied, just sometimes we say that justice delayed is justice denied, but in terms of us, we have a really long way ahead. It should be delayed perhaps, but it should never be denied. We have to actively seek for that, and there has been a successful case.
کشته می شوم بازم خبر به خبر کشته می شوم هر جا همیشه شام و سحر کشته می شوم هر جا همیشه.
طفلی اگر رسید گرسنه به مدرسه جانش گرفت و گفت که بیدین هزار است. هر جا که رخت خونی و خونها کس ندید پیداست به دلیل و
Homes, nowhere is safe and no one is spared. So today we have also come together to mark the increasingly commemorated Hazara Genocide Memorial Day, which falls on the 25th of September, to remember not only the current massacres and atrocities, but the deliberate, historical, systematic extermination of Hazaras and the brutal slavery of thousands of Hazara men, women and children, and the inhumane practices of their sale across Afghanistan, Central Asian and the Indian subcontinent markets. Because to this day, the annihilation and genocide of the Hazaras that started in the 1890s and the crimes committed against humanity remain unrecognized. The genocidal campaign against Hazaras did start in the 1880s, but it has never stopped, and it has taken many shapes and forms. It haunts us till now. The Hazaras have also been targeted with genocidal attacks in Pakistan, where our ancestors were forcibly displaced to. But in Afghanistan alone, over 70 genocidal attacks have been recorded against Hazaras in the last 2 decades. So Hazaras from across the globe continue to call on human rights organizations, on our politicians, on our representatives, on the global civil society, United Nations, and countries who are signatories to the Global Genocide Convention and Punishment, including Australia, to acknowledge and officially recognise the Hazara genocide, the crimes committed against humanity, to bring closure to Hazara families and their loved ones being targeted by these attacks. Tonight we will have an opportunity to hear from one of the founders of the Kaaj Education Centre and a student survivor who survived the attack last year. They will be providing the keynote address tonight. We will also have a panel discussion, as I mentioned earlier, to delve deeper into these issues and atrocities and forge a path forward for ourselves as a diaspora community. I encourage you all to produce the hashtag #StopHazaraGenocide and #RememberKaaj in your posts. I'd like to thank some of our special guests here tonight for coming here and for showing solidarity, but hopefully for promising to support us and our community in this fight, because we've got a long way ahead of us. Councillor Eden Foster, Mayor at the City of Greater Dandenong, we'll be hearing from her shortly as well. Cassandra Fernando, Member for Holt. Councillor Rhonda Garrett from the City of Greater Dandenong, who have joined us here today. Many advocacy efforts have taken place after the Kaaj attack last year and over the year till today, and some have been more protracted than others. And this community here, where we've been witness to a lot of effort that goes into these events from everyone involved, our young and old, and so I hope that spirit continues here tonight. On your tables, wherever there is anything left, on the agenda, the backside's got a contact for the Kaaj attack, but before and after. قبل از اینکه برنامه را آغاز کنیم یک لحظه خاموشی را به یاد شهدان نه تنها به یاد شهدان کاج بلکه شهدان پیش از آن و بعد از آن اختیار می‌کنیم. اگر شود در این لحظه خاموشی با خود یک تعهدی ببستیم که چگونه دست به دست شده و در این راه تا به هدف نرسیدیم از یکدیگر خود حمایت حمایت کنیم و با یکدیگر شانه به شانه کار کنیم و کمکان میشه. While you're reflecting during the moment of silence, please make a pledge on how you as an individual can make a difference on this path towards progress and justice.
The one anniversary of the devastating suicide bomb attack on Kaaj Education Centre in Dashiki, Bachi, Kabul. Just over 1 year ago, the Afghan Hazara community was again targeted by an attack of violence and hatred that targeted the young and innocent students who were preparing for their university exam. The heartless attacks on the very essence of what we hold dear is education. Education is a promise of a better future for our children. Our heart goes out to families and friends who lost their loved ones on that tragic day. An act of senseless violence forever changed the lives of those families and all their friends. The Albanese Labour government continues to condemn these acts of terrorism in Afghanistan. Since the return of the barbaric Taliban, they have banned girls from going to school and university, and to put a stop to female education. Education is a beacon of hope, a force that can transform lives and entire communities. The attack on Kaaj Education Centre was an attack on the foundation of our society. Okay, for each and every one of you, including your families, thank you very much.
Thank you, Cassandra, for your growing solidarity, and I'm sure the growing Hazara constituency in your local area would also be very thankful for that. I'd like to invite Mayor Councillor Eden Foster from the City of Greater Dandenong to share a few words of solidarity, and also welcome her to her hood.